Okay, first of all, if somebody were to ask what is the first cartridge-based system ever devised, most people might say the Atari 2600. However, this system predates it. The Fairchild video game system, 1976. You see cartridge insert. It's kind of funny trying to explain to people that the Atari 2600 was light years ahead of its time. It produced brilliant graphics, and when you tell that to people, they kind of give you a funny look. It's like, the Atari 2600 delivered great graphics? Yeah, if you play the Fairchild, the graphics are very choppy, and all the other game systems were nothing but Pong. But it was a start. Take off the top. At least it was made in USA. Here are the joy pads. Next we have the lineup of Atari home computers. This was the Atari 400. Only capable of producing 16K RAM power. I'm not sure, but I believe the Atari 800 was only 24K. Had the infamous left cartridge and right cartridge, which nobody seemed to ever use the right cartridge for anything. So a left cartridge. This was not a very interesting system, the Atari 800. It did have 4 ports. The Atari 400 was more interesting. Although it was the weaker computer, it was sleeker, looked nice. And it had those funny looking keyboards. Very interesting. I mean, it was not practical, but it was very interesting looking for its time. And this was just the left cartridge port. Then we have the Atari 600 XL. Very small computer. Same deal. 16K was the maximum cartridge power, meaning basically smaller than any Nintendo 8-bit cartridge ever made. So, wasn't a lot, but it had a lot of really good games for it. Here's the back. I mean, best thing was that when you got to the, I think Atari 800 XL, you could hook it up to a computer or monitor. So it was a lot different than playing it on your television. And then finally, here's the Atari 1200 XL, which is 64K RAM. Pretty big system. There's the cartridge port. Only 2 joypads. And as you can see, this hooks up to a monitor. So even though this wasn't a great graphics machine, it was really great at that time hooking that thing up to a monitor. So here's how the 1200 XL looks next to the 600 XL. 600 is very small. Of course, the big question is, why did Atari make all of these different computers? This was the beginning of the controversy. This is when Atari became a very controversial company, and their decisions were questioned by the rest of the computing industry. And as you know, before too long, Nintendo was released. And since we're here, this is the Intellivision computer adapter. So even Intellivision attempted to get into computers, which, to the best of my knowledge, Intellivision only had 4K RAM. Not very powerful. Here's Intellivision now. Here's the back of the Atari 1200 XL. See that? Atari, a Warner Communications company. So Warner had bought Atari at that time. Same is true on the Atari 400. That was not the case when the Atari 2600 was released. They were an independent group. And here's the back of the Atari 600 XL.